Testing, testing. Audio. Can anybody hear me? Let me know. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Can anybody hear me? Let me know. Let me know, please. Please, please. Okay. Sounds good. All right, I'm doing something very different. This was scheduled, but I ended up running into a lot of technical difficulties, and it took me a few hours just to set this all up. Yeah, you're looking at basically a pane view of what we are seeing right now with Chantal. Yeah, Chantal is definitely a strong tropical storm. Nonetheless, you can clearly see it right there. As we loop it through, lots of very deep convection is surging across portions there of Wilmington, North Carolina. The system is very close of making landfall. I mean, we have a partial formed eye wall actually on this, especially on the southeastern quadrant of our system. This is the third named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, and it is the strongest storm of the season so far. Yeah, we had Barry. Now we have Chantal with winds of 50 miles per hour. So I hope you all are doing great. This is me. I'm doing a live stream. This is a little different though tonight. As you guys might have noticed a little bit, I started this very late. It's not easy setting these up. It really, really isn't. And it took me a few hours just to get the windows in place, just to find some live cameras, at least that are hopefully good enough. Actually, some of these are not live, so let me actually fix those right now. So all of these are now live streaming. So let's actually turn over to... Okay, yeah, this is definitely... I'm not used to doing this, so bear with me here. Okay, I think you guys could see me now. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I have to look way over there, actually at the chat. Actually, do I have this even docked? No, I don't have this docked. So let me do this. Oh my lord. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot. I just hope it doesn't cause problems. All right, let me go over to here. Perfect. All right, I'll have to move that over though. So, no, it's not YouTube. It's just all these windows. Oh my gosh. I have like 50 windows open on my PC right now that are making this all possible. So this is what we have right now. We have Chantal moving very closely to where Jordan Fate lives. This is Myrtle Beach over here, getting some pretty good rainfall with winds that are sustained of about 15 miles an hour, winds gusting well over 20 miles an hour. There are much stronger wind gusts offshore. And as we play this through, there is the circulation. It looks like, though, however, there's a mid-level circulation, and then there's the low-level swirl that you see here. So this is still far enough offshore where it's going to ingest more moisture, and this might strengthen just a little bit more before this makes landfall. And it's over some very warm sea surface temperatures. In fact, if we look at, not that, let's go over. I'd even set up my live pane view, didn't I? No, I didn't. Forgot to set that all up. Let me do something here. So live. It's going to be black for a second. That is because I am setting up the next scene. All right, so let's go to, sorry if it's black. Again, I was kind of in a rush to do this, so just, you got to bear with me. You just got to just be okay with it. There we go. So this is our main screen without any of the pane views, so I can actually bring up, yeah, look at all the windows that are running in the background. So I need to be careful of not clicking. This is the window that we need to stare at. So this is what the National Hurricane Center is saying right now. Again, strong convection is bubbling up around the circulation, and winds are at 50 miles per hour. And let me make sure. Yeah, it's still at 50 as of the 11 o'clock advisory. And there is the risk for flash flooding. So yeah, Chantal is going to be a problem for sure, a big problem. And when we actually look at our windy.com on that system, again, if things are a little out of sorts tonight, that's just because this took me forever to set up. So this is what we have based on our model, and our sea surface temperatures actually on this. That's what I was thinking about. My brain's all over the place. So sea surface temperatures, yeah, 83 to 84 degrees. That's pretty warm. That's in the low to mid 80s, warm enough to support or tropical genesis up until landfall here. And that's what we have in place. Now, when we look at our winds, this is the HRRR model, our high-res model. Don't ask me why they don't have hurricane models on windy.com, but this will do the best we can have it. And it does show winds of about almost 45 miles an hour. More realistically speaking, that's what the winds are. And then as they move on shore into the overnight hours, in the next a couple of hours, winds are going to be pretty dang strong, really along the coast here of Myrtle Beach, Holden Beach. Winds between 30 to 40 miles an hour. So there will be tropical storm force winds. There's going to be storm surge as well, because that's very strong onshore flow pushing water up onto the North Carolina coastline here near Wilmington. And then that's just going to kind of stay over land and weaken, but still producing near tropical or tropical depression force winds on the southeastern side. And then this thing is just going to get basically kind of destroyed by land interaction, by deep layer vertical wind shear and some drier air that's going to push the system through. Now, as we take a look at rainfall totals, let's play that through. So here is those rainfall. Wait, is our rainfall not going to work on us? Oh, here we go. This is what we need. So these are our rainfall totals on the HRRR model. And as we can see, yep, there will be a few areas on this model that get up to 5 or 6 inches of rainfall out of this system. So there is going to be a lot of water falling in certain areas where those rain bands set up. Look at some areas here across Cape Hatteras. Yeah, look at this. 5 inches, maybe 6 inches, whereas other areas might only get about an inch, which is probably an understatement. When we look at the European model, not as aggressive, but it's also not a high-res model, showing around that 2 to 4 inch mark across North Carolina. And you'll see that here when I run the macros, you'll see that clearly on our slide that I have set up here, which was a huge, huge problem to get all together. And so you can see rainfall totals, even on the GFS, anywhere between 1 to 4 inches across Greensboro, North Carolina. But I hope you guys are doing great. This is my first live stream on a tropical storm of the hurricane season of 2025. I know this was not really This was somewhat planned, but somewhat not. But when I did want to plan it, I had to realize it was going to take me about 3 to 4 hours to set this thing up. So, sorry about the delay. I mean, I wanted to go live at 9 o'clock and then it just got pushed back to like 10 o'clock an hour later. That's what happens though when you set something really big up and things kind of get out of whack, you know? So, but I'm glad I am here doing this for you all. Why didn't I cover Texas? Well, that's because, long story short, not because I did not want to cover Texas, but I was very tired yesterday, okay? I don't like giving away my second job, but I work at a grocery store, and yesterday was 4th of July, and believe me, you do not want to know how busy it was on 4th of July at the grocery store where I work at. It was so busy that I wanted to literally cry and just go home. No, I'm not a crybaby. I don't want it to sound like that, but like it was overwhelmingly busy. And so literally when I got home yesterday, because I didn't get home until 5, I literally went straight to bed. I literally went to bed at like 7 o'clock at night. And I'm like, I was going to cover some of the flood threat there in Texas, but I was like, I can't, I don't have the energy. So yeah, if you've been to a grocery store on 4th of July, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm sure all of you went to the grocery store yesterday and went shopping for fireworks, or not fireworks, but for meats, for vegetables, and for party supplies and stuff. And that was kind of a pop-up thing. I literally did not even know about it until someone in the break room said, "Do you see what that is on screen?" I'm like, oh no, there's a flood threat. And I realized there was a flood threat there in Texas. It was really, really bad. I think like more than 100 people are killed or something in that. And I feel bad that I didn't go live and I didn't cover it, but I was working throughout the entire event and I didn't even get home until like 5:30 last night from work. So I can't be here for every event. I want to be clear about that. I just can't. That's going to change hopefully soon. Because my friend Easy Peasy, that's not in the chat right now, he actually has authoritative power to go live on my YouTube channel. He has the manager tool, and so if something really big happens, I'm going to have to reach out to him about that. We are going to try, even when I'm not on, we're going to try to go live on events like that are just pop up, you know? So they said the river rose 25 feet in 25 minutes. That is unbelievable, Brady. Wow. That is 25 feet in 25 minutes. Shoot. That is insanity. That is insane. All right. So, see if I can get this to work. I am going to run macros on here. And I want to see what you guys think about the new layout. Hold on. Where is it? Where's my full? Okay, there it is. Okay, so let me go over to macros. Inflection, switcher. Let me try to get this to work and see what you guys think. This is the first time I am doing this, so I sure hope it is a success. So macro, auto switch, plug-in state, plugin is running. Let's see. So I need to run the other. I need to run 4 more things here. So let's see here what we have. Yeah, this is how it all happens behind the scenes. So we don't want it to tell it to wait. So it's gonna wait on this scene, storm floater satellite. That is storm floater. Where is storm? Okay. So actually that is going to go to the very top. NHC cone. So that's going to go above NHC cone. Sorry about this, folks. Again, this is somewhat a test live stream, just getting everything in order working. Okay, so storm floater satellite. So we want to make sure that's below radar Omega cameras. So we want to do... So switch scenes, GR2 analysis. So we want that. We want radar Omega. Okay, program. So we don't want that. We'll disable that one. It's going to be wait, switch scene to NHC cone. After that, we are going to run... So scene. Sorry, this is not happening as I was hoping. I set this up very quickly, so bear with me. So live screen, GR2 analysis, storm floater satellite. Using fade, that's what we want to use, is fade with a duration of we're going to bring that up here to switch scene after. So hurricane wind, storm force wind, NHC. So before NHC cone, it is going to go storm floater satellite, NHC cone, and it's going to run through the macros. Storm floater satellite, and then we're going to create another instruction. Okay, so we're gonna run this for 15 seconds. Actually, we're going to run that, for 15 seconds. Wait fixed for 15 seconds. Then switch scene to NHC. Then wait for 10 seconds. So that is going to be that. And then we need to run another scene switcher. Switch scene. All right, program. And our program is going to be... Did we get key messages? We didn't get key messages, did we? Okay, so why is it... Okay, storm floater satellite. So we need to take this off. So we need to highlight this and take it off. So wait, switch scene, wait. Okay, so we are going to put... Switch scene again. There's our storm. Sorry, you guys. I am boring you. I wanted to show you guys this too. This is kind of like a little test stream. Little testy test. Wait. Switch scene to program. So our program is going to be rain. Okay, so we did get rainfall potential. Spanish key messages. So wait on that for 10 seconds. And then we will switch scene to what? Flood risk. So we want flood risk. And we're going to use scene switcher fade. And then we are going to do another one. So we need to tell it to to wait. We need to tell it to wait for 10 seconds, and then we are going to add another one. So switch scene again. This is flood risk, so we are going to tell it to switch scene to storm surge. Right? If I hope I got everything there. And then we're going to tell it to wait one more time. Wait. And it's going to wait for 10 seconds. And that's it. So we have all the scenes started. So let me know if it, let's see how this actually works. I'm actually nervous. Okay, looks like it is on our first scene right now. Is it working? Oh, it is. There we go. It's actually working. Okay, why is it? It should switch here. This is the automated system. Oh, and why is that out of sorts? The heck? Okay, you know what? This is bull crap. Okay, so let's stop that. Why is this? Okay, I literally set this thing up. Oh, you know why? You know why? Aha. Aha, that's why. There we go. So, there we go. Should work now. Let's try it again. Okay, I literally blew up the windows too much. Thank you, Weather Boy. I appreciate that. So again, I'm just running everything through. Let me know what you guys think. Again, this is simulating if I'm away from the computer. I have some background music, and this is going to loop overnight and showing us the latest model data. Sorry all about that technical difficulty there. Yeah, this is literally a big thing to actually run. It really is. There we go. It actually is working. It is actually working, except that, there we go. So, of course, we don't have hurricane force wind speed probabilities. So, of course, that's going to be blank. But when there is something, we're able to, it will pop up automatically. So this is actually all automatically done. I'm not even touching anything, and it's running it through automatically with the live cameras and stuff. Let's just talk about this Saharan dust in the Atlantic. Well, this is a live stream about our tropical disturbance. There's always another day. Once this thing makes landfall over the next day or so, we'll be focusing more on the broader picture. But of course, I want to keep my promise. I want to keep my promise for you all that are watching this. Like, where is David at? Why is he not live streaming on a tropical cyclone as he promised, you know? That's what this is all about, you know? So you have to keep a promise, or else people will not trust you and be like, David has been promoting this, you know, for a while and he's not live. What's going on, you know? This has not made landfall yet. It has not made landfall. There's our storm surge forecast. So it's looping all the way through. And I think that was the last one that it did. There's GR2 analysis. Of course, it's not running. This was just a test. to make sure all systems are good. And then there it is right there. So how do you guys like the loop animation? Do you guys approve it? Again, these are just a few of the live cameras. It's just I did my research last minute on all this stuff. So I only picked out 4 cameras. But don't worry. It's a chief attempt. What's up, Dark Steve? So that's all of that, and that's how it all works in macros. So and there will be a ticker. If you guys, you know, the ticker is as accurate as I can make it, with the date and time and everything. So, yeah, what you're seeing, what the layout you're seeing is pretty much what you're gonna find once we get a much stronger tropical storm, or more like a much stronger hurricane, or even a major hurricane, you know? All right, so I'm going to stop the macros, and we're going to close that out, and we're going to go back to our live stream scene where we could actually look at radar. But I got to be very careful what window I have open here so I do not click on the wrong window and I mess with it. Because, yeah, you mess with a window, it doesn't go well. It really doesn't. Will this tropical system impact New York City and Long Island? So let's actually look at the models on that. So this is going to kind of collide with a cold frontal boundary. So in some sense, yes, there is the low pressure that is going to parallel the coast. So yeah, you're going to get some indirect subtropical moisture advection over the Northeast. So in a sense of love, you are going to get some rainfall that could be heavy at times. Okay, YouTube's letting me know my stream bit rate is really bad. Well, I'll fix that for the next stream. $6,800. Wow. So, yeah, so basically, over the next few days, over the next 72 hours, yeah, New York is going to get hit, and with more rain. Look at this, more rain thereafter. By day 4 and day 5, going to get quite a bit of moisture. But I do not see any big systems after this one at all. Well, this was really not a super big monstrosity of a system. But yeah, it is a named storm. It earned its name. Could Chantal, South Carolina, or could Chantal bring, or oh wait, could Central South Carolina get tornadoes from this? Even though we're on the left front side, usually that side doesn't get tornadoes. It's very, very rare to get tornadoes on that side. Is because especially there's drier air coming in out of the northerly direction, at least in the low and mid levels. So therefore, getting tornadoes on that side is not very likely. Not very likely. This is kind of almost subtropical-ish. but it's really not. Next name up is Dexter, the replacement of Dorian. Yes, I can't believe it. Yeah, replacing Dorian. Because it has been 6 years since, I can't even believe how fast time has went by. Time has gone by way too fast. And so therefore, it has, 6 years elapsed. But yeah, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also share this with your family and friends on social media. We are covering Chantal live right now on the YouTube channel. I'm not saying who's going to get hit by the next named storm. We don't even know. We don't even know. That's all I'm going to say. What's up, Joseph Harden? Yep. 2020s is going by fast. Yes, it is, for sure. What's up, The Gaming? How are you doing? What's up, Brady 111? Thank you so much. Glad to see you here. I know it's very, very late. That was not the purpososity of this live stream, is going very late. I mean, I started setting this puppy up at like 7 o'clock, and it just took me forever because I had to get Windows all set up. I mean, you should see what my whole desktop looks like right now. It is a mess. It is a mess with Windows all over the place. But for you guys, you're just seeing it as organized as the dawn of time. And you could say thank you to the software that I use for that. You're seeing it on one side of the screen, and I'm seeing it on the raw side. But yeah, these are our velocities right now. So our velocities are pretty strong, especially with this little piece of energy. That's like going toward the radar. So that's like 80 miles an hour right there. Oh, a little bit of a spurt of 80-mile-an-hour winds. That looks to be more likely a waterspout of some sort, though. Has that waterspout look to it. So yeah, don't be surprised. Holden Beach, Oak Island, in Vermont Town, Charlotte, Ocean Isle Beach in North Carolina, you're going to definitely get maybe a water spout or two, and that could bring in suddenly higher winds and waves. Keep that in mind. Even so, it's a tropical storm. Chantal is not tricking the puppy out of you all. David, one question. Will there be Dexter be in August soon, but could it hit Blazer again? Joker FF. That's like predicting to win the lottery 50 years down the road on the very day at the very time. Okay. The only consensus is we'll probably see one more sneaky system before July is done. And then, of course, looking into August. What's up, Sean? How are you doing? So there is a special weather statement associated with this. And as we play this through, you could actually see the circulation is not very well aligned. We have a little bit, actually, if we kind of stare down at two different maps, the circulation is like right over here. Yeah, the velocities do show that. So the circulation is like right here. And it looks like there might be a secondary circulation underneath where all this deep convection is. So this is not really vertically stacked, and it is very asymmetric. That's why you see all of this heavy rainfall very weighted to mainly on the eastern and northern quadrants. What's up, Shawnee Timber? How are you doing? Question, could it be possible that Virginia could get a tornado threat from this storm? Oh, gosh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of these outer bands right here, Virginia's way up here, though, but as this parallels and kind of the disturbance works its way up the eastern seaboard, there is a non-zero chance of a spin up or two, especially on Monday and Tuesday. How long will Saharan dust, or how long will Saharan dust will go away? Do you think the Saharan dust will be removed by July 31st? That is a tough one. Most likely, the Saharan dust will begin to decrease by late July in August. That's what tends to happen, but there's always Saharan dust. And honestly, it's really not about how much Saharan dust there is. We really didn't see a whole lot of Saharan dust last year, especially in early September, and yet we didn't get tropical development. There's other factors that prevent tropical cyclone formation, and that's the deep layer vertical wind shear and the stability of the atmosphere. You know, if the atmosphere is not unstable enough, we don't get enough convergence along the monsoon trough off of Africa, then it's not very permeable, that there's not going to be much in the way of development. Even so, Saharan dust is not really the harbinger. Yes, the gaming, yes. You can really see though just how dry it is out. Oops. I'm not even on my main screen, darn it. Let's go to here. So I mean, look how dry this is. Like, come on, GFS. It's like really dry out here. Like really, really dry. The wind, the trade winds are stronger than they should be over the Caribbean still. Vertical wind shear, though, does not look to be a big issue, though. But man, over the Caribbean, though, that vertical wind shear will still be elevated all the way through at least the 21st of July. And I do believe we're going to have a very backloaded season. I don't think we'll see much until we get into late August. That's my personal theory, but good. Golly, we already have our C-name storm. Last year, let's see. Let's look at last year's hurricane season for reference, and I can tell you where we're at. So keep in mind, oh yeah, we had our C named storm in late June, and then there was nothing after that. So the fact that we have 3 named storms versus this time last year does mean we're on track. We are still on track, and our D named storm did not form until early August. Now, if our D named storm doesn't form until late August, you know, with Ernesto, or well, not Ernesto, with our E named storm not until early September, then I could kind of start saying that, yeah, this is going to be probably about the same season that we saw last year. But we have a long time, folks. We just got into July. I mean, you know, some of you are like, when is the Saharan dust going to abate? Like, you want a very busy season? I'm sure a lot of you are excited for hurricane season. I surely am, but you know what? Patience. It's all about patience. And, you know, I do believe our hurricane seasons, especially the last few hurricane seasons, have ended up being backloaded. So I don't see that changing this year. I think it's going to be a backloaded season. In August, do you think you can show me the moisture of rain? Where the models don't go out all the way out into August. The climate models do, which they are not always 100% reliable. But look at even July. Look what the CanSIPS model has been showing in July. But it is very interesting what its predictions showed in April and then May and then look at it did show above average anomalies, and now look at it's just dry. So I'm seeing corrections here, and it's going to be interesting what this is going to do once we get into August. This is July, so below average anomalies of precipitation here, but above average, which we're already seeing that with our Chantal that's happening. And then as we go into August, I think a very active, robust West African monsoon. This does not mean there will be above average tropical cyclone formation. This is a climate model, and you know how climate models will behave. They don't behave as, you know, like they did not do very good last year's hurricane season. They really didn't. So we have to look at this and be like, okay. But it is, according to the CanSIPS model, it is looking quite busy for September for sure. And by October, looking at the same thing. But usually by November, a lot of the activity really shifts down here. Man, it looks like the whole United States, well, yeah, the whole United States in December and January will be completely dry. Like, is that really going to happen? Is that really going to happen? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Sure looks like it's going to be pretty dang cold, though, over the northern tier, though, for February, according to this model. Yeah, it looks like if you look at the CanSIPS Joker FF on Tropical Tidbits, it is showing well above average rainfall chances for your area. So yes, above average rainfall does not mean above average tropical cyclone activity. How I look at it is as in, okay, wetter than normal, but each storm, take one storm at a time. Once it forms, where does it go, right? So that's what you got to look at. I agree, Joseph. What's up? A305, Aaron, 1234. Having a backloaded season is worse in a way because that gives more than enough time for sea surface temperatures to reach their max climatological peak. All right, sea surface temperatures are still warming up out there in the Atlantic, in the Gulf, in the Caribbean, as well as the western in the Western Atlantic. In fact, if we do go and look at there's two ways we can look at this. We can use climate reanalyzer. And that's what we're going to actually use. So if we look at the MDR, the main development region is warming up further above average. We are seeing warming resume because of those trade winds. I mean, back in mid-June, our water temperatures were actually slightly below average. And then now they're back to being above average by 0.2 degrees in the Atlantic main development region. Actually, let's go to the full screen so you guys can see this. So this is what we're looking at right here. And you can see they are above average. And if we click on our anomaly map, click that, this is what we're seeing. And actually, can I get closer? I hope I can get close. Let's see. That's what we're looking at. So this is as of July, and I'll tell you right here, and this is NOAA that makes this. This is where a lot of our warm, oh wait, this is July 1st, so let me actually, so this is as of July 4th, and so we can see warmth has returned over here and over here. So we are seeing some warming happening out there in the MDR. The Gulf still really warm, but my goodness gracious, over here, I cannot say it enough. That is substantial amount of warmth. I mean, that dark red orange color right in here, that is about almost 3 degrees above average. When it comes to sea surface temperature anomalies, very warm over here. I mean, holy cow. That is at least 30 degrees above average over the Iberian Peninsula, the Iberian current that comes down. It's going to be a matter of, does this work its way down and feed into this? That is a story for another day, of course. But wow, I mean, you could really see early July, it was kind of cooler than average. And now this really has taken off over here with that warmth. And that's going to really play a role in what comes off of Africa. Because as you know, all these tropical waves usually develop and they kind of go this way. All right. They kind of track like that. And some of them will kind of split off and then kind of go that way. And where this is all taking place is we have above average sea surface temperatures in the MDR, and they're warming up. Update is out. Let's take a look at the latest update. It's probably 50 miles an hour. And it is 50 miles an hour still. Oh, 60. Never mind. We're at 60 miles an hour on our Chantal. Wow. Chantal a little stronger and close to landfall. Man, could this push 70 miles an hour? So, yeah, 60 miles an hour and pressure down to 1,002 millibars. So Chantal is stronger in its intermediate advisory. Again, making this the strongest storm so far this hurricane season in the Atlantic. And speaking of that, let's go to cyclonic. Oh, yeah, there's the air mission, the Air Force mission. I did not even realize they were actually in progress with that. So flight level winds. Yeah, they did find flight level winds of 60 knots. That is quite close to hurricane force in the low levels. So yeah, there is definitely a very, very well statued wind max happening. And there's the plane. They're flying back in. So 1,002 millibars. And there is a lot of yellow on this side. So there is some pretty intense winds. That's about 50 knot winds at flight level, translating that down to about 40 knots at the surface, 34 to 40 knots. It's about 50, 55, maybe 60 miles an hour. So, yeah, this is pretty strong. 60 mile an hour winds. As far as climatology, we are definitely behind. But look at this, 1989. We're actually ahead of 1989. And again, we are going to make this up very quickly, I believe. I really do. Backloaded season, I'll tell you, backloaded season could change everything. So there is winds of 60 miles an hour, pressure down 1,002 millibars, and flash flooding is increasing. Excuse me. As Chantal gets closer to making landfall. I agree with you on that. Yeah, people are just hung up on the fact that I bet you some of you out there that want the next name storm are like, July is so unusually quiet. There's like not many named storms. Should we be on our letter E or F storm by now? Come on, climatology. It makes sense. It really does. We might see one more named storm for July, but I think it's a lot of this activity is going to hold off into at least the early and the middle of August. The first tropical storm in 1992 was Andrew. Yeah, so let's actually look at the 1992 hurricane season. I think that was also a that was a below average season, but even with 7 named storms right here, really quickly, even this right here, 7 named storms, 4 hurricanes, and yeah, the one and only major hurricane was Andrew, a Cat 5. It goes to show you number of named storms does not always grant you below average ace. Well, this was probably a below average ace score year for sure. Well, Andrew was long track, so it was pretty much close to average with that named storm. And there were 4 hurricanes that year. So yeah, I mean, for Pete's sakes, we could have had 7 major hurricanes in 1992 while only having 1 name or 8 named storms. Number of named storms does not give us a good picture if it's going to be busy or not. Yeah, we already do have 3 named storms. We only need 4 more to surpass 1992, which I believe we probably are going to for sure. 100%. All right, so let's see what you guys are asking. Is active phase MJO headed towards... The MJO is actually in the unit of circle, which means we're not seeing a active MJO phase or active MJO activity at the moment. It is actually neutral. And it's been like that for the last couple of months where we have not had a whole lot of MJO activity. I do expect that should change as we go into more likely as we go into September. Gosh, it's 11 o'clock. So, yeah, it's coming down pretty good, though. Why is this big? Oh, my gosh. There we go. We fixed it. I have yet to figure out which cameras these actually are. They are in North Carolina. That's all I know. Where in North Carolina? I've yet to figure that out. I literally I typed in literally North Carolina live webcams, and that's what came up. And I'm like, okay, I need to get those cameras in line. So these are somewhere in North Carolina. That is for sure. And I have the automated system running while I just talk to you guys. By the way, I have to actually update that ticker. Because it's, yeah, I have to update that as of. Pressure did drop a little bit, though. We're down on pressure. We're down on pressure. I've literally got to update this whole thing again, this whole ticker. It's actually going quite smoothly, though. This should work really well. Sorry if the ticker went black. There we go. It works. It actually works. Earth camera has a camera on the coast. Well, I'm sorry about that. Next time. What's up, Just Weather? Holiday tracking. How's everything? So yeah, this is pretty close of making landfall. It's definitely out here where the mid-level circulation is up over here somewhere, where that deep area of convection is. But yeah, it is definitely raining pretty dang good there in Wilmington. Wilmington getting hit pretty good. A lot of rainfall. That's good to hear. I'm glad you're doing great. What do you guys think about the... Ooh, gosh. It's kind of got scrubbed down a little bit. There we go. How do you guys like the panel view? But yeah, thank you so much, Basketball Jones 7. You can even see where the low-level convergence actually is right here. You can see all that precipitation, that orographic flow, or frontal baroclinic flow, or barotropic. You get stratiform rain. Thank you so much, Jacob. Tara. Now, this is going to be what is used during my bigger live streams on the on hurricane or on landfalling storms. This is basically kind of a test version, a trial run, that is. But yeah, look at all that convection exploding right there right on the coast of North Carolina and South Carolina, like far eastern South Carolina. Just like a mass, like a glob of deep convection. Milton formed in the Bay of Campeche. It was not a Cape Verde system. Good point. Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. And that thing yet delivered Cat 5 winds to the Tampa Bay, Florida coast. Well, not Cat 5, but Cat 2, Cat 3 intensity. It goes to show you, you don't need to look towards Western Africa. All you need to look at is in front of where you live. And that's where the danger happens. So, do you think there could be more landfalls on the East Coast? I certainly think so. Probably this won't be the last one. Why not the East Coast? Why doesn't why not the West Coast? Sorry, my alarm went off. Why doesn't the West Coast see hurricanes? Just because of the sea surface temperatures are way below average and there's a lot of drier air across the West. So that is why. But the big reason is sea surface temperatures are in the upper 40s to lower 50s. I mean, you can't get one speck of a tropical system out of that. Why are these? You just have to understand that, you know, tropical systems love the warm water. They love heat. They're heat engines. They like the heat. July is always quiet. For the most part, yes. Except last year was not so quiet. Was there a landfall in the West Coast 2 years ago? You can kind of say Hillary almost hit California. The landfall was just south of San Diego. So in some sense, you can kind of say yes, but how often does that happen? You know, it rarely happens. What? Oh, okay. If you're referring to West Coast like, okay. Oh my, it's almost 11:30. Yeah, Hillary made landfall in 2023 in August. Yes, that is correct. Keep streaming until 3. I have to get into the shower and I have to get to bed. Um, well, I guess that's possible. I guess that is with the setup that I have. We'll see. We shall see. There's not going to be any music. I don't know. I didn't even get a soundtrack for this live stream, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But that's the expected rainfall over the Carolinas. And look at those seas on some of the cameras. Not so good. Conditions are really deteriorating. What's up? Call me David. How are you doing? What do you think tropical activity will ramp up again? I think very late August into early, not late August, very late July into early August. Thank you so much, Jacob Tech, or Tara, I meant. Funny enough, my alarm's going off. Why is it going off? So, is this not even updating? These windows set up the auto updater and it's not doing it. that's because this is not even running. Forgot to set this all up to where it automatically updates. Crazy. I even set this whole thing up. There we go. Should have updated automatically. Things should be up to date on that. There we go. Now it's up to date. Now it's up to date. Recon is done. Well, yeah. They're probably not going to fly into the system anymore. We have a pretty good idea that the system has 60-mile-an-hour winds, which is only 15 miles an hour shy of a hurricane. And that is a lot of rain dumping across the Carolina Beach area. Wilmington, Columbus County, Horry County, New Hanover County getting hit pretty good with rain.